Hey everyone, welcome back to class. This week we're talking about metaethics, which means we're talking about moral realism, moral relativism, and moral subjectivism, moral nihilism. And we'll talk about what that means in a minute. So we've been talking about morality in general. We looked at trolley problems, we looked at Kantianism and utilitarianism, which are two ethical theories about what we ought to do in general. And the trolley problem asks what we ought to do in one specific case. And then we looked at the Singer's argument that we ought to be donating all of our money or almost all of our money to life-saving charities all the time. And now we're going to ask a question that's a little bit farther back. So we looked at sort of real up close, real world questions like abortion and the death penalty, and hypothetical questions like the trolley problem and general theories. And now we're taking a step farther away from sort of applied specific questions. And we're not even talking about which ethical theory is right. We're talking about whether or not there are even any right answers in morality, whether or not morality is real, and if it's real, what it is, where it comes from. So this week, I'm going to try to divide the lectures up into sort of smaller videos than usual, because we're talking about several sort of different distinct views in one category. So in this video, I'm just going to talk about what metaethics is and what the sort of different views that we're going to look at are. And then in a series of videos, we'll look at some of the different views on the table: moral realism, moral relativism, moral subjectivism, and moral nihilism. And in very broad strokes, very briefly, moral realism says morality is real and objective, and there's one right answer to every moral question. Moral relativism says each society gets to decide its own morality. Moral subjectivism says each person decides their own morality. It's just your personal opinion, nothing more. And moral nihilism says there is no such thing as morality at all, and all these other views are just mistaken. And those are the views we're going to talk about. So, first things first, what is metaethics? Well, metaethics is a branch of ethics. So ethics is a branch of philosophy that focuses on what we should do, what's right and what's wrong, what's morally right and what's morally wrong. And metaethics is a sub-branch of ethics that asks, what does it mean to say something's morally right or morally wrong? What makes, when we say something's morally right or morally wrong, what makes that claim true? When I say murder is wrong, if I'm right, what makes it right? What makes that claim true? What makes murder wrong? Or another way of looking at it is, are there even any moral truths at all? If one person says you should pull the lever in the trolley problem, and another person says you should not pull the lever in the trolley problem, is one of them right and one of them wrong? Do they just have a difference of opinion? Or are they both wrong? Is there no such thing as morality? Are they arguing about nothing? Those sorts of questions are metaethics. It's metaethics because it's about ethics. It's about ethical claims. Are there moral truths? If so, are they objective? Are they matters of opinion? What makes moral claims true? Are they sort of built into the world? Do they come from society? Do they come from individuals? These sorts of questions. So we're not asking, is stealing wrong? We're asking, what makes stealing wrong? Is anything wrong, strictly speaking? And we make moral claims like stealing is wrong, you should keep your promises, lying is bad, you ought to give to charity, you shouldn't torture people, murder is wrong, etc. We make all these sorts of moral claims, and we can ask sort of whether or not the claims are true. We can ask, is stealing wrong? Should we give all of our money to charity like Singer thinks we should? Or do we not have to do that? Should you keep your promises, or is it okay to break promises? But if any of those claims are true, then something makes them true. If we ought to give all of our money to charity, like Singer thinks, then something makes that true. If it's true that we ought to do that, then something makes it true. But if it's not obligatory to donate money to charity, if it's morally okay for you to keep that money and spend it on yourself instead, something makes that true. Either way, something has to make the claim true. So what is it that makes a moral claim true? If you say you should pull the lever in the trolley problem, and someone else says you should not pull the lever in the trolley problem, if one of you is right, what makes you right? In virtue of what is the thing you said true? Is the moral claim you made true? And you have 4 different options, basically. And these 4 options lead to 4 different metaethical views. Moral realism says that morality is objective and universal. So moral realism says what makes a moral claim true is just the world itself. Morality is built into the world. It is objective and true. It's not up to us. It's not up to society. It's not an illusion. It is a real thing that you can be right or wrong about, the way you can be right or wrong about math or gravity or whether or not owls exist. You can be right or wrong about morality. Morality is just built into the world. It's not a matter of opinion. It's not a social construction. Moral relativism says that society is what makes moral claims true. Your society and the values that your culture or society has, that's what makes moral claims true or false. And so moral claims really are true or false, but they're only true or false for your society, in virtue of the society or the culture, the time and place in which you live. So society makes moral claims true. It's not built into the universe. It's not built into the world. If there were no people at all, then murder wouldn't be wrong, because there would be no society that believed murder was wrong. Whereas moral realism says that if there were no people, it would still be a fact in the world that murder is wrong. That even if there were no people who believed it, it would still be true. Moral relativism says you need a society in order to make moral claims true. But once you have that society and it has its sort of morality set up, then moral claims really are true for that society. Moral subjectivism is the view you get if you say what makes a moral claim true is that you think it. Morality is your personal opinion. If you think you should pull the lever in the trolley problem, then you should do that. But if someone else thinks you shouldn't, then they shouldn't. It's their opinion. You and that other person just have different opinions about the trolley problem. Neither of you is right or wrong, because there's nothing beyond your opinions for you to be right or wrong about. Morality is subjective. It's up to you individually. So it's your opinions that make your moral claims true or false. They're true or false for you, not for anyone else. But you might also say that no, nothing makes moral claims true. There are no true moral claims. If you think that you should pull the lever in the trolley problem and someone else thinks that you should not pull the lever in the trolley problem, then you're both mistaken, because you both think that there is some moral value to your actions, and there isn't, according to moral nihilism. Moral nihilism says morality is just an illusion. All moral claims are false. If you think something's morally right and someone else thinks something's morally wrong, The moral nihilist says you are both incorrect. You are both mistaken. Nothing is morally right. Nothing is morally wrong. Nothing is good. Nothing is bad. There's no such thing as morality. It's an illusion. It's a mistake. And so these 4 metaethical views are what you get if you take different answers to the question, what makes moral claims true? If you say the world itself, they're just built into the world the way math and physics and other kinds of truths are built into the world, then you're a moral realist. If you think society makes moral claims true, you're a moral relativist. If you think your personal opinion is what makes moral claims true, then you're a moral subjectivist. And if you think nothing makes moral claims true, there are no true moral claims, then you're a moral nihilist. And those are basically, broad strokes, those are the 4 options. And so those are what we're going to look at today. And so I'm going to stop this video here. And in the next video, we will talk about moral realism, what it is, and what some pros and cons of the view are. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.